For years, grandmothers have crocheted that delicate lacy edging on baby blankets. You see it on flannel burp cloths, on little girls' dresses, and we certainly value the time it takes for that sort of handmade touch. But what is getting the attention of home sewers now is a shortcut version, a way to get that lacy look that you might like even better. It finishes a raw fabric edge easily. It adds a little bit of embellishment. Kris Thurgood is tipping us off to this new product and new idea, and I understand it's a huge hit with home sewers and fabric lovers. So what is it?
Yes, well, this is a vintage bias trim. So we call it vintage because it looks like you have crocheted the edges, right? So when this was presented at market about a year ago, everyone was going crazy over it. They loved it. They couldn't wait to bring it into their shops, and it was definitely a hit at the quilt market. And we have this in all different colors. The fun thing is there's different prints. You've got polka dots. You have checks and gingham and little fruits and flowers. So really, really fun way to finish up a project.
And I have to say, I'm looking up close. The detail is there. The dainty detail that we love so much about the hand sewn version. It's there in full form.
Well, it is, and it's going to take half the time to be able to finish your project. And a lot of people just either don't have the time or they want to be able to have this darling look without a lot of effort into it.
Would you call it an alternative to lace?
Perhaps, yeah, you could definitely add it as part of, you know, in replace of a lace trim. Let's take, for example, this cute little dress.
Oh my gosh, this is darling.
Is that the sweetest?
Oh, this makes you swoon.
So take a look at that. You have so much detail in here and such a simple finish, and you didn't have to crochet it yourself. And yeah, it definitely takes the place of lace in this item.
Because we're not seeing lace as much
Not
used
as
much,
often. But it's very dainty. It's small, it's not too big, so it really adds a great decorative touch to just about anything.
Well, it's that decorative touch that would take a dress like this from a commercial store to like a fancy boutique, right?
Yes,
That's
exactly.
What you
I mean, when you're
for.
looking at boutique dresses, let's take a look at this one right here.
Cute.
You have this darling dress, and again, just the cap sleeves are with the trim.
Right.
So just really, really fun way to do it.
How does it compare to traditional bias tape, would you say?
You know, it's very, very similar to bias tape. So the only difference is that you have the crocheted edge. So you would treat it like bias tape. Now, the thing about bias tape is it has stretch, so it goes around curves real nicely. So when you take a look at this quilt, for example.
This is to die for. This is so cute.
I know, we love it. And look how we were able to have, you know, a word in the quilt, and it's all done on the bias trim. Because it's on the bias, it can curve really nicely.
So this
as
word
you
is
sew
bias
it.
tape.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it takes the curve or the shape that you're trying to create.
Exactly. And so the same with the panda's eyes and the ears and the shape of the head. And then around the edge is the crochet trim.
Right.
Okay, so a great way to also finish off a little blanket.
This is a project you could just sit and stare at because the detail is so eye-catching.
It's
so creative, so sweet.
It is. It really is. So just a fun way. You've got lots of different things. We've got the little baby booties.
Oh, stop.
I mean, come on.
Look at this.
You can't get cuter than that, right?
Oh, the tiptoe.
Exactly.
So cute. So cute.
Fun. We've got, you know, little bags, a burp cloth.
What have you done here?
Just a simple little notebook that, you know, if you take like an old quilt block or something, you can just add the trim. Basically, anything that you would finish off an edge, you can finish off with the bias trim.
Do you feel it plays nicely with other patterns? I mean, here I love this idea, but it could add an extra texture of busyness.
It does. You know, it can be very busy, but it just depends. Like if you want a really eclectic look, you know, go for something like this. If you want something a little bit more subdued, we have it in, you know, solid colors as well. So it just adds, you know, a whole nother dimension, and it just depends on what you're looking for. Busy, yes, but cute. Absolutely,
the cute factor is off the charts.
Exactly.
So any tips for working with this? You mentioned it curves nicely.
It does curve nicely. And so let's take, for example, if I wanted to finish off some napkins even.
Okay.
And just add a nice little trim along there. All you would do, let's take this edge here. You could open this up like that. And you could simply insert it right there, and then do a straight stitch with your sewing machine and stitch all the way along there, and you would be done. Now, if you wanted to not be able to see the sewing line on here, what you would do is you would simply open up this bias trim all the way, and you would put it right sides together along your edge, and you would sew right on the fold here. At that point, once it's done, you would flip it over, and then you would hand stitch the back. So 2 different ways of doing it, both very simple and just a lot of fun. A great way to finish it off.
This is one of those products that makes me want to sew. That makes me want to learn how to sew. I should say, I should clarify that. What about care, washing instructions? How does it hold up?
You know, it's going to hold up really well. You would obviously have it on a gentle cycle, and I would almost tend to, you know, air dry it instead of the, you know, the dryer. But yeah, very simple.
To the Minky. I mean, we could just gush over every single project application you've brought.
Exactly. Front and back is done, you know, with just the 1 layer of Minky, and then you've got the cute bias trim edge here.
Oh,
and
pull
take a
that
look
one
at
out.
this bib. Is that so
Are you kidding?
sweet?
This is an outfit.
Yeah, exactly.
No baby food shall touch the surface of this bib.
Yeah, I'd be saying, yeah, when they're sleeping, it looks perfect, right?
A little drool catcher maybe, but no baby food. Oh, that's adorable.
But again, just a great way to show off that there's a lot of possibilities with this, a lot of fun things. A simple baby blanket, you know, putting together squares. It's very simple, but really the finishing touch is adding that bias trim, and it's golden.
How do we get our hands on some?
Well, you can find it at my girlfriend's quilt shop. We have 2 locations, both in Logan and Midway.
Thank you for showing off that darling detail. Couldn't love it more, Kris. Great to see you as well.
You too.